So the Colts have fever players out. Sophie was not there, but they give everyone jerseys. And Caitlin Clark, grew up in Iowa, is a Chiefs fan, refused to wear the Colts jersey. She just held it up like this. And she hasn't gone out and said, like, I didn't do it because I'm a Chiefs fan, but the internet was like, she's a real one.
I love it.
And it's just like...
Everyone is buzzing about Sophie Cunningham's recent interview, which included criticism of the league, accusations against the leadership, and now some scathing remarks about Caitlin Clark. This one is crazy. Sophie didn't even hesitate for a moment. In all honesty, it's the most genuine voice we've heard in months. Do you believe Sophie is being truthful, or is she just stirring things up once more? Okay, let's get started because Sophie Cunningham's most recent interview was excellent.
Are you watching the finals?
I guess watched.
No.
Hell no. I haven't watched a lick of the WNBA. I don't know what's going on. I talked to my teammates like the day that we did exit interviews and all of that. And I haven't, I need a cleanse. Like, I'm booking vacations. Wes, we need to go on a vacation and do a podcast.
Let's be clear now before we continue. Sophie has never shied away from voicing her opinions. Sophie always manages to say precisely what everyone else is afraid to say, whether it's making fun of her own team, criticizing the WNBA front office, or casually cursing in the middle of a conversation. She went off on everything this time, though.
I can win and roam it. Like, I can be like, I'm here. They brought, like, I'll put this shit on. Her not doing that is so incredible. I hope she knows how awesome that was.
You sent it yesterday, and I was like I'm not surprised by it. I'm not, because you know what? Everyone's always trying to get her to like wear something or do something, and for her to be like, nah.
The scene was straightforward. Back home in Missouri, Sophie joined the Show Me Something podcast, drinking coffee from a mug and chatting as if no one was listening. Just Sophie being herself, no PR tone, no media filter. She also somehow touched on every WNBA headline that has been making waves, particularly Caitlin Clark, in between tales about horses, the weather, and pregnancy fever. Let's begin with that section first. Do you recall how the Indiana Fever players were recently invited to a game by the Indianapolis Colts? Have all of you got a Colts jersey? A good PR move, isn't it? Caitlin Clark, however, wasn't complying. She was raised in Iowa. She is a huge admirer of the Chiefs. She chose not to put on the Colts jersey when they gave it to her. She merely raised it. That's all, did not put it on. Did not pretend to grin. Simply said, yeah, thanks, but I'm good.
So the Colts have fever players out. Sophie was not there, but they give everyone jerseys. And Caitlin Clark, grew up in Iowa, is a Chiefs fan, refused to wear the Colts jersey. She just held it up like this. And she hasn't gone out and said, like, I didn't do it because I'm a Chiefs fan, but the internet was like, she's a real one.
I love it.
And it's just like, it's so good. So good.
And the internet went crazy. She was being referred to as a real one by fans, who said, Caitlin's staying loyal. Additionally, memes were spreading like confetti across Twitter. Sophie then added her voice, and her response was just what you would have expected. She stated bluntly, "That was fantastic. I hope Caitlin is aware of how awesome that was." She then chuckled and remarked, "It doesn't even surprise me. She is exactly like that." Remember, Sophie wasn't even present at the game. She claimed to have left the place well in advance of the event. However, she was unable to quit building Caitlin up after watching the video online. She claimed that Caitlin's decision to forego donning the Colts jersey was genuine and amazing. She's also correct. Even though it's a minor detail, that kind of genuineness stands out in a league where everyone is expected to act politely and adhere to the PR script. In essence, Sophie stated that her favorite event of the week was Caitlin's moment. She even grinned and joked that she could have worn it, but it was made much better by Caitlin's refusal to give in. In all honesty, this instance explains why supporters adore them both. Unapologetically, Caitlin Clark is herself. Sophie Cunningham speaks up without apology. Additionally, it's a rare instance of respect for one another that supporters truly like seeing when a vocal player acknowledges another. Sophie didn't stop there, so that was only the beginning. She also discussed her personal recent issues, including the one in which she cursed at WNBA executives and was subsequently penalized for it. Do you recall her tirade in which she claimed that league executives had no basketball knowledge? That one, indeed. Basically, Sophie stated in this interview, "Yeah, I said it. I'm not going to take it back, either." She gave a flawless explanation. She continued, "I'm not going back on what I said, but maybe how I said it could have been better. I might have been a little harsh, but it's also just me," she said after laughing. It's really Sophie to say that. It's half mic drop, half apology. She went so far as to acknowledge that she wishes to speak more thoughtfully because when she swears, people assume she is ignorant. "When I swear, people think I'm uneducated," she said exactly. "However, I am aware of what I am discussing. I simply swear." It's a valid point, to be honest. She is fervent. IT is her entire brand. The host then questioned her. Did she feel bad about what she said about the league office or Kathy Angelberg? Sophie also didn't think twice. "No, I meant every word," she said. "I may have been wrong to swear, but I did mean it. Fans would like to see more athletes have that kind of direct honesty. Avoid being overly cautious. No hiding behind training in the media. Merely expressing what everyone has already thought." The nicest thing is that Sophie talked about more than just herself. She unknowingly defended Caitlin Clark once more. She simply said, "Hell no," when asked if she had been watching the WNBA finals. "I haven't watched any WNBA games. I'm taking a vacation. Good luck to whoever wins," she continued. "To be honest, I don't give a damn who wins." Now, she actually made a good point before anyone criticizes her for it. She claimed that she simply needed to unplug following a demanding season full of drama, mayhem, and injury. And many players experience that, but they never publicly acknowledge it. Sophie clarified that when you're in it, competing daily, and something goes wrong, you need time to regroup. It hurts to see other teams play immediately after you lose. She was referring to exhaustion rather than shade when she stated that she was on a WNBA cleanse. And really, who is to blame for her after the season? She claimed that for once, she has been attempting to live a simple life, unwinding and spending time with her family. She continues to use her sardonic one-liners to remind everyone why she's so funny in the interim. "I'm planning vacations," she said. "I'm done with it. Drama exists, but I'm finished. Let's talk about fashion instead," she joked. The only person who could go from discussing league findings to pika coats and Christmas vacations in the same sentence was Sophie. However, it actually indicated something deeper, so let's take a moment to go back to that Caitlin Clark awkward moment. Sophie found it more than amusing. She thought it was powerful. She claimed that it demonstrated Caitlin's self-awareness and lack of concern for trying to win over everyone. In a league where players are always expected to be appreciative and polished, that is uncommon. Sophie even expressed her hope that Caitlin will see the significance of that brief time. What do you know? She is correct. One of the most shared WNBA posts of the week was the video of Caitlin clutching the jersey. Without uttering a word, it exuded confidence. Fans agreed with Sophie when she said it was fantastic because, let's face it, Caitlin Clark could have simply smiled and put it on, the standard PR tactic. However, she didn't. The supporters adored the way she politely kept her ground. Because they are both real, Sophie can relate to her. They don't fabricate content to gain league approval or post on social media. Now, in the middle of the conversation, Sophie changed the subject and began discussing the repercussions of being vocal in the WNBA. She claimed that she feels obligated to speak for players who are unable to express themselves openly because she feels like she represents them. What she said, "I represent a lot of people who don't say stuff, so I want to make sure I say it right." In actuality, she exhibits a rare degree of self-awareness. She is aware that her platform counts. What sets her apart from most is that she understands that she is advocating not only for herself, but also for athletes who cannot afford to face fines or losing sponsorships. Yes, she is loud, but it's more than just noise. She genuinely gives a damn about what she says. She then revealed another gem that caused fans to start talking. Sophie acknowledged that she still thinks a lot of the executives don't understand basketball when the subject of WNBA leadership was brought up. She continued, "They might be good business people, but they don't know basketball." When she first shouted the line, It went viral on social media, and now she's going all out. She didn't change her mind. She didn't say she was sorry. She simply gave an explanation of her feelings. Because it appears that those in charge of making the most important choices for players are ignorant of the game they are developing. That's difficult to argue with. If you've been following Sophie for a while, you are aware that this is precisely what her fans anticipate from her. She is the player who expresses what everyone keeps to themselves. The best part is that she manages to maintain her charm even when she says something controversial. Everything she says sounds half like an interview and half like a stand-up routine because of her energy, which combines country girl honesty with a don't mess with me attitude. She will swear, chuckle, give a serious look, and then, as if nothing had happened, begin to talk about horses. This most recent interview served as a reminder to everyone of her magic. You can tell Sophie sincerely respects Caitlin Clark. Therefore, let's connect this to her once more at the end of section 1 of the script. You can tell Sophie is sick of the league's persistent attempts to utilize Caitlin's name for sponsorships and attention. In essence, she is saying, give the players a break. Allow Caitlin to be herself. It's strange because you could hear the same intensity even when Sophie was attempting to remain calm during her podcast. Without trying, she is standing up for athletes like Caitlin. She stated that she is taking a break in order to find tranquility. Perhaps that's just what Caitlin requires as well. They both have something in common despite the chaos that surrounds her this year. These women don't pretend to be someone they're not. And that's as uncommon as it gets in the WNBA at the moment. After all of that, if you believed Sophie was finished, reconsider. Because Sophie went all Sophie once the episode started discussing the offseason. Even as she discussed her knee recovery, her league clean, and how she's finally having time to lead a normal life, her tone remained constant. Fans are unable to get enough of that sardonic, direct energy. She joked about having baby fever, laughed about being on aunt duty, and acknowledged that she had been at home long enough to get bored. Then she stated something more profound. She wants to take a break before the drama consumes her because she feels like the WNBA community is constantly on edge. This season was chaotic, so that section really hit home. From ongoing injuries, arguments in the media, and social media going crazy over anything Caitlin Clark did. The noise has been continuous. Sophie also stated unequivocally that she will no longer tolerate that noise. She said, "Hell no," when asked if she would be watching the finals. "I haven't watched any WNBA games. I'm making travel arrangements." Her mood is summed up in the statement. She is tired of the phony unity rhetoric. She's just aloof, not angry. And there is the distinction. Sophie isn't resentful. She's exhausted. She even brought up the idea that following a defeat, viewers assume that players simply move on. It's not that easy for players like her, though. "You can't watch other people live your dream right after it ends," she added. "You require room." That's a unique perspective that's not commonly heard, particularly in a league where the majority of players maintain a polished and professional appearance. The funniest thing followed. Sophie began making jokes about Christmas bar crawls, pika coats, and winter attire. Yes, she did criticize the league in that same episode. Sophie was the only one who could discuss fighting league fines before abruptly switching to her ideal holiday ensemble. She stated that she wants to look stylish and feminine this offseason because she is sick of sweatshirt fits. Not mine, but hers. She mentioned that she is planning a Christmas vacation to New York, updating her clothing, and yes, she is purchasing a pika coat. It's funny, but it also demonstrates her self-assurance. Sophie is skilled at managing the discussion. You might be discussing fines and problems 1 minute, and then laughing about winter attire the next. She uses that to show everyone that she is more than just the sarcastic, nasty player. She is a person. The subject then turned to her rehabilitation. According to her, she removed her leg cast early without the doctor's approval because "I'm not patient." Her knee was recovering more quickly than anticipated, according to her doctor, who eventually examined it. "Say less," Sophie remarked, laughing. "Traditional." But the very end was the nicest part. She was asked by the host if she regretted being so direct with the league. After a lengthy silence, Sophie answered, "No, I'm proud to have spoken up. Someone must." No matter what people say about Sophie, whether it's too loud, too brash, or too emotional. She consistently demonstrates that she's one of the few people who truly expresses what others merely whisper, and that one statement essentially sums up her entire brand. Perhaps the fact that this interview had more than simply an athlete discussing sports is what caused it to go viral so quickly. It was someone being brutally honest about burnout, pressure, and maintaining your voice in a field that frequently silences those who speak up. Despite everything, she still managed to exalt Caitlin Clark without using phony compliments or acting as though they were closest friends. Simply show respect. "That was fantastic," said Sophie. "I hope Caitlin understands how awesome that was." Wasn't a remark made at random. It involved a vocal player praising another for taking a risk. Even though the league certainly wishes they would both speak less, fans adore them because they both defy expectations. I end this interview. Sophie didn't mince words. She didn't tidy things up for the press. She didn't change her mind. She also didn't pretend to be excited about seeing the finals. Fans don't often get what she provided them: integrity in one's personality. Ultimately, that is the reason why fans pay attention. Because even while Sophie Cunningham's remarks may garner media attention, they are at least her own. Whatever you think of Sophie Cunningham, she adds interest to the league. She has talent because she can criticize leadership, stand behind Caitlin Clark, and still make fun of Peacock in a single interview. How did you feel about Sophie's remarks? Is it just right or too real? Leave your comments below, click like, and subscribe for